Hello, you guys. Good afternoon. Stop. How's everyone doing? I'm gonna let y'all start getting the notifications. Um, yeah. I see one person is here. Let me turn on the comment stage so that I don't really miss a lot of comments. We're just gonna let people start getting the notifications. I hope everybody is doing good. Whew, we'll be on for a little while. Yeah, it is so cold in my house. It is so cold. Hey, Teresa. It is so cold. And I stepped outside for a few minutes. I hurry up and step back in. And it's 52, which is still cold to me, but I think it's colder in my house. So, but then I got on my Jamaican wrap. Yeah, I fell so in love with those Jamaican wraps when I went to Jamaica. I bought so many. It was a lady that would be on the beach at the resort that we were staying at, and she was selling them. And they was getting over. So I'm thinking this summer. I'm like, oh, I bought me some Jamaican wraps, and she was charging like $10 a wrap. So then I get on Amazon. So my daughter was like, Mama, I found those same Jamaican wraps on Amazon. And I was like, wait, it ain't the real Jamaican wraps. Those Jamaican wraps are like $1. Like $1. I was like, oh my goodness. But I love to walk when I don't have anything to do. I love to just clean in them and walk around and just lounge around the house, lay around, all of that. They're so comfortable. Hey, positive vibes, M Rose, Janice, Tyranny. Y'all, what is going on? We want to talk about, is the music industry taking a mental toll on artists, or are they taking them out for insurance money? Yeah, I think there's a problem with my notifications going out. I really do believe that there is a notification. I mean, an issue with the notifications going out, because my phone lately, when I go live, my phone has not been going off. It normally goes off when they're sending the notifications out as they should. I don't know if it's a YouTube thing or if the notifications or whatever have been hacked. Because you do have other, for some reason, um, content creators. I guess they think that's gonna make it better for them. It's a damn shame. Like, you see that a lot with people, and I want to say this. I guess this goes into what we're going to talk about. Like, I never understood why people put so much stock into worrying about what other people do. Like, if you're running a race, you can't win a race by consistently looking back at how close somebody is to you. And oftentimes you really in competition by yourself, because a lot of times those people are in their own lane. That's why when you're in a race, you see each and everybody in their own lane. People are in their own lane. They're not worried about you. But it is very weird to me, like the lengths that people go through to try and sabotage or to try and stop somebody else's success as if they're God. That's the reason why you see a lot of them going to jail or dying. Sometimes I've said this, and I'm not a mean person. I'm so not, like, I'm really a kind-hearted person. But I've said this, and I used to hear one of my great aunts say it. And I think this is where I get it from too. Sometimes when people are just so corrupt and evil, because see, what they don't understand is they're not God. If there's a mandate on a person's life, it is predestined for a person to be successful. They can't stop it. And sometimes people have to die. Okay. Sometimes they have to die for a generation to be set free. And some people, they get it from like their parents and shit, with jealous hearted and messy and all of that. And it's just on the inside of them. Because anytime you sit up and you take the time out, first of all, it's a mental illness. Okay. And I would hate to, you know, that's sickness in the mind. Sometimes a person needs to be set free by death. Okay. Um, but when you think that, I think a lot of people are in their graves because they thought, because they stood in the way of a person that God had already decided was going to be blessed. You think about a lot of people, like when I always say, like, when you have, um, I always say, like, if you like a supervisor or something like that, you're there to be, to really to be a blessing, not to just micromanage somebody. Okay. And sometimes if God has blessed you to be in a key position, a lot of times you don't know why you're there. You think you're there for one reason, but each and every one of us are connected to each other in some type of way. And then people get into positions and they allow jealousy to just penetrate them. And they think, well, I'm going to put my thumb on this person and hold him down. And they refuse, they let their heart be hardened, and um, they refuse to do what they're supposed to do. And a lot of times, either you don't see them no more because something has to happen. God removes them one way or another, or they end up losing their position. I'm gonna tell y'all something that happened many years ago. I was working for, I worked for many chiefs. Let me just say this: I worked for many. Okay. And because you know that is an appointed position, so one day you'll be working for a chief and he might get fired. You know, usually the chiefs was at the wheel of the, either if it was MPD, they were at the wheel of the mayor, and if it was the sheriff's office, the sheriff appointed the chiefs. And I remember I was working for this chief, and for some reason he wanted to give me a hard time. And people was like, well, you know, he's one of those ones that like young women. And so he would tell people that he had an issue with me because I've always been real quiet and reserved. Because the girl who was there before me used to joke and laugh and play with him. I just wasn't one of those types of people, right? I was really reserved and quiet. And so, because he was the top person at that time, he took offense to that. And so I remember he had like donuts with the chief. Now, I was working right in his office, okay? And everybody was coming in getting a donut, and this man had diabetes real bad. So I got up, I was like, oh, okay, well, let me go in here and get me a donut. And when I got ready to get one, he was like, don't touch my donuts. I thought he was joking, right? Because they were there for everybody. He was like, I'm serious. Don't touch my donuts. Like, he had an issue with me because he felt like I didn't kiss his ass. Kissing ass and they never been in my diet plan. Okay. But I was very dedicated to my job. He just so happens at that time to be the chief. And so I remember I told my mother, like, at that time I was so sensitive. Like, I went into the restroom and cried. I was like, dog, this man is so mean. Everybody was looking. Like, dog, they was constantly coming in, they was eating donuts and stuff. And so my mama said, I remember my mama said, my mother could hear the hurt in my voice. She said, that's so low down, like, for that man to be mean to you like that. She said, he's gonna wish. She said, he's already got diabetes and sick. He's gonna wish the day that he never ate that donut. My mother could hear, like, my mama said, I was so disturbed by how hurt you was. She said, I immediately got out the phone and just started praying in the spiritual realm. How about less than a year later? And we didn't wish this up on him either. He was around there telling people, pray for me. You know, his kidneys were failing because his kidneys were failing. He was looking for a donor because he was a diabetic. And then, like, right after that, he ended up leaving and going to be a chief at another facility. And then there was a real big scandal there with him. And then they said that they saw him, it had gotten so bad, he was still looking for a job. He was in line down at the pyramid trying to get a job, standing in line trying to get a job. And then it stressed him out so bad, he went to sleep one day on the couch. His wife and his daughter was in there, and he never woke up. So you have to be very careful about what you do to people, because you don't know their ranking in the spiritual realm or anything like that. It's a lot of people that is so chosen by God, okay, that is so favored by God. The moment you even think about doing something to them, it's a lot of these bitches on here, they so damn miserable. They got so much shit going on in their life bad, they don't even understand why. Okay. But you keep fucking with me, you're gonna end up in jail. I'm talking about, it could be anything. Look at what happened to Onan. Onan had a spirit on him, and he had the gift of gab. He was making a fool out of them damn fools that was in his chat, a bunch of damn fools. He had them wrapped. He was really hitting a lick off of them. All of the shit that man had did, all the stuff that he was doing, he could have really kept making a lot of money off of them damn fools that was in the chat that worshiped him. But instead, he set his energy in on me, because he wanted to be able to put out, he didn't have no credibility already, but he wanted to be able to put out them lies, and he felt like, I guess he couldn't do it if you had somebody like me, a woman that wouldn't go along with it. You come to my channel, he say one thing, he might say that the sky is purple, and the Memphis Police Department painted the sky purple. Them damn fools knew he was lying, but they was scared to say something. So you come to my chat and they say, well, Miss T, this MPD paint the sky purple. No, the motherfucking sky is still blue. See, he didn't like that. But look at the position that he's in now. You know what I mean? So that's why I say you have to, all you have to do is just keep praying. You don't have to worry. Like this right here, don't pay me no money. It don't. But it's amazing to me how like twisted people are that's on here. Like I ain't never known. It's to me, when I see men that are in competition with women, that's like kind of foreign to me. I see women have very competitive spirits. I hate that as it relates to each other, but getting on this internet, this is the first time that I've seen a bunch of men act like bitches, okay? When they are in competition with women. To me, that shouldn't even be happening, okay? I mean, that's just very foreign, because I'm used to being around real street dudes and real men. You know what I'm talking about? And they dare one sit up and think of ways to try to be sabotatory to women. It be so many things I want to do, but I just from being on here, these damn fools have kind of made me paranoid. Like I can't let people into my space, because I be wanting to do community type things. But I get to thinking about, well, damn, I start doing that. Like I be wanting to enjoy what I got going on, but I would have to have a whole lot of security there. Not because I'm a celebrity, but because these folks sick. Anytime they'll go out of their way to hire hackers to do a bunch of bullshit, they subject to do anything. Okay? And the best thing that could happen is for you to lay them down. Then when nobody else have to worry about their sick asses. Hell. Anyways. Y'all. Okay. He's reinstated his Instagram page. I wonder if he's gotten his appeal. Now I know they say that those appeals can take up to like 6 months. He reinstated his Instagram page. Does his Instagram page still have the type of BS that he had on there before? Has he called himself cleaned it up or anything like that? Um, or is it still got the same bullshit on it? Because if it still got the same thing on it, maybe he's gotten his appeal back. I thought they said it could take up to like 6 months. To it sometimes longer to get those appeals back. It's got the same stuff. Maybe they didn't, because if what I was looking at, the guy that was called himself was representing him. He seemed very weak. Because I mean, you arguing that you sitting up arguing that he couldn't sit next to his damn lawyers. If you look at Hernandez Govan trial, he wasn't sitting up there with his lawyers either. He was sitting behind his lawyer. It ain't like the table long. Okay, well, evidently he must have been and got a decision. And they're going to what's the word when they're gonna uphold whatever the state prosecutors had. Who was that? Justice Fredoff asked me if they can if a conviction, if a person was found not guilty, can it be appealed? Because of the double jeopardy laws, it can't be appealed. The state, on the other hand, if you are convicted and then a higher court overturns it, then the state has the opportunity, because they got a conviction to begin with, to appeal that to the Supreme Court, I do believe. Oh, so no decision has been made yet? Well, like I said, that's interesting. I mean, what is the argument? They never argued. Be quiet, shit. They never argued that he wasn't there. They never argued that wasn't him in the videos. They never argued anything about Cornelius Smith. I ain't gonna say, because I notice a lot of these attorneys be watching these vlogs, because they don't. I mean, that's where they get their inspiration from. I think that's what they get their the light bulb comes on. Okay, and so I don't want to give them no ideas, but just from what I saw in the courtroom, you arguing that they didn't call Hernandez Govan. The state didn't call Hernandez Govan. Why didn't they call him? Shit. I mean, it wasn't like you can get a subpoena. They could have got a subpoena and subpoenaed her Govan to court and gave him the opportunity to plead the fifth. Okay. But they didn't want to do that because the defense was going against Hernandez Govan. You see how bad Straight Drop's attorney was really, you could say that the disdain as it relates to Hernandez Govan. He wanted to say that it was Govan, and his slant was it was Govan and Cornelius, as Straight Drop had told him to say. Because remember when Cornelius said, Straight Drop told me to cut him loose and tell the police would say that it was me and quit. And he said also he wanted you to tell the truth. So they already knew he wasn't gonna come in there at that time and speak up for Straight Drop. But I think that might be something going on now. And if Quet ain't careful, if he allows Straight Drop, because see, Quet escaped by the skin of his teeth. Quet knows his part in this situation, and he happened to walk free. Now, if he ain't careful, if he let Straight Drop pull him into some bullshit, he gonna mess around and they gonna get to digging up some more stuff that he's gotten away with that they can charge him with. Okay, so I think Quet need to just stay out while he can, because Straight Drop ain't getting out. I don't know why he would want to ignite a flame on top of his head when folks already ain't pleased with him walking. Especially when they feel like he was involved. Straight Drop ain't get ready to get out. Okay, he ain't get ready to get out. But what's probably gonna happen is Maybe Quet is scared that if he don't help him, Straight Drop gonna start talking. He already had been talking, and he is gonna talk and start telling on some damn murders to get them to get that, because he don't want to do life. A 20-something-year-old boy don't want to do no life. So if that's what they scared of, they need to be, because that's what's gonna happen. Okay. Anyway, y'all, let's talk about the music industry. Okay. Now, I was reading something. The picture was close up of Dolph face with the bullet hole on his cheek. I don't get what's his argument about. Well, if they talking about that, well, we know Cornelius knocked him down. Cornelius got him in his chest and his legs and stuff. Everything that was upper what came from Straight Drop. After Cornelius had him knocked him down on the ground, Straight Drop ran up and started pumping him in his face and stuff, in his neck. All those upper shots came from Straight Drops. So why that damn fool in court? What he talking about? I'm talking about the lawyer now. Okay. So they sitting up trying to argue that. That's a bunch of crap. Hell, they could have went and got it if they want to quit in court. Straight Drops attorney wanted he didn't want to call Quit as a witness. I don't believe, because not as a witness for Straight Drop, because they know Quit had already seen what Straight Drop had told on him. I was trying to tell on him, and then they wanted to slant it. They wanted to, the defense angle was to make it seem like it was Quit and Cornelius that did the damn crime, and not Quit and Straight Drop. Okay. Anyways, so y'all, we know Lil Papa, you know, I was looking at a video that OG Jacario did. I wonder if OG Jacario will let me play his video. Have y'all ever known OG Jacario to strike? He played my videos. I ain't gonna dare strike him. I wonder if he'll let me play his video. OG Jacario did a really good video, and I like the way he did that video. I would love to pull his video up and play it. I think I could do a review on it. Let me see if I could do a review on it. Hold on, you all. Look, don't get around me and making all that racket now. Go on. My nerves and stuff bad this morning. Is it still morning or is it evening? Let's see. OG Jacario. Okay, so he was talking about OG Jacario was talking about in his video how Lil Papa had a witness in the car with him. John Brown said, word is Lil Papa has something to do with food. Yeah, you know, one of my subs, Steven, was telling me that. I said, be quiet. I'm not playing. Steven was telling me that Lil Papa allegedly, you know, he was getting ready to be indicted because he put in on the hit for Julio. And so, you know, and then they were saying, Steven told me that, and shout out to Steven, supposedly Lil Papa's manager was CMG Red and another young lady. Okay. Let's do a review on OG Jacario. Okay. Y'all add OG Jacario up in here so I could see, because he be in here sometimes, so that I could be sure that he don't mind. Can somebody add OG Jacario so he can come in here?
Lil Papa was found dead in Atlanta on Wednesday. The 25-year-old was based in Jacksonville, Florida. His real name is Janarius Wheeler, the Fulton County Metro.
I told y'all he was going to post him after he looked at my show. I said, Gotti had not said nothing, but since he a fan of the show, he's going to post, he'll say something now. And then sure enough, I believe that night one of my subs said Gotti must have been looking at the show. He just posted something about Lil Papa. Okay.
Medical examiner confirmed his death, but did not tell us how he died. Lil Papa was part of a collective music group led by rapper Yo Gotti.
Say, man, hey, man, it's something very suspicious going on in the Lil Papa death.
Music fans across the U.S. are mourning the loss of a Jacksonville rapper. That's our top story tonight. Thank you for staying up with us. I'm Anthony Austin.
I'm Heather Crawford. Lil Papa, born Janarius Wheeler, has died at the age of 25. The medical examiner's office in Fulton County, Georgia, confirming his death to us.
You shot straight, but you shot late. Hi, Lib. This is the Rundown Podcast.
Now make sure y'all go subscribe to OG Jacario.
I'm gonna give you the rundown.
Heather and Anthony, Lil Papa was more than just a rapper. He was a hometown dream turned reality. At just 25 years old, he built a powerful voice for himself in the music industry. Now, as friends, family, and fans try to process his sudden loss, those who grew up beside him say that he was bigger than just music.
He was just a great guy. Outside of the music and the artistry, man, he was a good human. And I'll never forget him.
Jacksonville native and music producer Scotty OTH says he grew up with rapper Lil Papa, and the two shared big dreams.
I was making beats, then he was making music. In 2019, 18, we ended up making, our first track together. Outside is deeper than music. That was family to me. We called each other cousins.
Scotty says his grind was unmatched.
Very hard worker. I ain't never seen nobody outwork Papa. I would use the last man standing in the studio. Forever Young was Papa's favorite song that we did together.
In 2022, Lil Papa signed with Yo Gotti's collective music group, a defining moment in his career. He released several fan favorites, including Love and War.
Yeah, hit the like button and make sure you all go and subscribe to OG Jacario. I'm sure all of you all already are, but if you're not, you need to go and do it, okay?
Mind Over Matter, and Happy Tears, along with projects like Almost Normal Again. Just this past Friday, he released a new single titled Out of Town Bay. Since the news of his passing broke, Lil Papa has been trending on X. He had nearly 1 million followers on Instagram and more than 600,000 listeners on Spotify.
I feel empty, but I love him. I love him to death, always will. And I'm just trying to compartmentalize everything.
Photographer and creator Terrence Tyson says he met Lil Papa at the very beginning of his career.
I know how, myself and a lot of other people, how hard we went for him to get where he needed to be. It was a shock, it was a big loss.
Tyson says the rapper pushed through trials and tribulations to create opportunities for himself and others.
When he made it, it felt like everyone made it.
Now, as Jacksonville and fans across the country mourn this loss, those closest to him say his heart and music will keep his legacy alive.
He's gonna live on. His legacy is gonna continue.
Back with a update if they came along with one, and I be damned. Lil Papa shot himself after the car crash, police say. And this is a big, narrative twist, plot twist. Then yesterday when we just got the news of his passing, many people were speculating how, and it wasn't what they said, because as we see now, TMZ is now reporting that it was some sort of car crash. But he was all by himself in this crash. Car was still, operable. And right after that, that's when.
Okay. Now, he says that they're saying he shot himself after a car crash, even though the car was still operable. Okay. And he had somebody with him. I mean, to me, that within itself is really weird, because normally if people are suicidal, they go off by themselves and kill themselves and take themselves out. You see what I mean? They don't wait until they're around other people. Most of the time.
Allegedly, he took his own self out the game. Rest in peace, Lil Papa. Wow. Yeah. Now, according to TMZ, we are learning more about the circumstances surrounding the death of Lil Papa, and it's pretty shocking. TMZ broke the news. The rapper, real name Janarius Mikhail Wheeler, was pronounced dead yesterday in Georgia at the age of 25. Hateville Chief of Police Bruce Headley tells TMZ Lil Papa was in a single-car accident on Interstate 85 south of Hateville, which is when he called his manager asking what he should do. The car was still drivable. And the manager told him that they'll meet up in the nearby parking lot at the Hilton Hotel. And Headley tells us when they met up, Lil Papa stayed inside his car as she spoke to his manager. Oh, hold on. Lil Papa stayed inside his car as she spoke to his manager through the roll down window. Okay, hold on now. Let's stop right there. Now listen closely. The manager told him that they'd meet up in the nearby parking lot at the Hilton Hotel. And Headley tells us when they met up, Lil Papa stayed in his car as she spoke to his manager through the roll down window. So Lil Papa didn't speak to his manager. It says Lil Papa stayed inside his car as she spoke to his manager through the roll down window. But notice it did say that Lil Papa called his manager. So he did talk to the manager to, get the location to meet up at, which was this Hilton parking lot, right there at the airport where this Hilton is located at. The car was still drivable. So the manager says they can meet up at the nearby parking lot at the Hilton Hotel. And then Headley.
Y'all, that within itself is very suspicious. Hold on, y'all. Okay.
Tells us when they met up. Okay, so whoever Headley is, this chief of police, I wonder, what Headley is, filling in here by saying that she spoke to his manager through the rolled down window. So obviously the chief of police is telling us that it was a female in the car with Lil Papa. Now, either this is a typo where it says that Lil Papa stayed inside his car as she spoke to his manager through the roll down window. Either that's a typo or it actually says, that this is implying that it was a female that was doing the speaking for Lil Papa to the manager through the roll down window. And let's carry on. We're told it's unclear what they discussed, but at some point, the rapper pulled a handgun, put it to his head, and pulled the trigger, shooting himself dead. Headley tells us an off-duty officer who was working at the hotel called 911. And Lil Papa was rushed to Grady Hospital where he was pronounced dead. No note was left. The CMG record label owner, Yo Gotti, paid his respects to his artists, and he put out a heartfelt condolence sent to the family of Lil Papa. Lil Papa was signed to Yo Gotti's collective music group, CMG, and has released several hit tracks over the years, including Love and War, Mind Over Matter, and Happy Tear. Now, a lot has unfolded since the death of Janarius Mikhail Wheeler, a.k.a. Lil Papa. Just 48 hours, the Fulton Medical County Examiner's Office in Georgia already told TMZ the rapper real name, Janarius Mikhail Wheeler, died after being shot in the head. His death has been ruled UAI. Okay.
Yeah, it's something about that within itself that is weird to me. He'll do himself in front of other people. They're having conversations. He pulled up, evidently he pulled up to whoever it was to handle some business. I mean, what happened in that moment to make him want to take himself out of here? what happened in that moment? You know, he why would he want to meet up with that person to just to take himself out? It's really just something weird about that. Okay. Hold on.
Self-inflicted, this whole ordeal is what they're saying. Fans paid tribute to the late rapper in the comment section and his most recent Instagram post. And also, rappers like Boosie also paid their respects, calling Lil Papa a legend. Floor.
I want to give TIP Thug and Peace to Lil Papa, man. Yeah, my right there, always supported me, looked up to me. Always came to Boosie, babe. Saturday, too. For the time being. So TIP Papa, nigga, Thug and Peace, nigga. Damn, Papa. Talented ass nigga, boy. TIP Papa, nigga, Duval legend, nigga. The Duval legend, nigga. Live across the world. YNs, nigga. Pop. My daughter, them nigga. Pop. TIP Papa, nigga.
Lil Papa's cause of death comes out just a day after the authorities pronounced him dead. And Lil Papa was a popular Jacksonville, Florida-based rapper and part of Yo Gotti's collective music group, CMG. He released an album last year and dropped the single, Out of Town Bay, just last week. So if he was there in that parking lot, should be cameras, to catch the whole ordeal, the confrontation or the conversation or whatever they had. And this guy don't want to, or female, because they didn't specify the manager, right? Because we don't know if it's I don't know if it's a male or a female at the time. But now my thing is this, depending on where they were parked at that Hilton parking lot right there by the airport, right, is where they met up at. And, he had to call his manager, right? So he did talk to his manager when he called the manager after this, solo accident he had all by himself, right? And had to go to the nearest parking lot and park the car and, call his manager and see what the next step to do, right? And they never said what type of car he was driving, like, the build or the make, the model of the car. They never said this, all right? And, the thing that stood out is they said that she, talked to the manager, right? So they didn't ever specify that Papa talked to the manager, during this alleged conversation that turned into Papa, turning the firearm on himself and inflicting this gunshot wound, right? So what happened up until that point? Well, the cameras, kind of give us a more better insight as to what unfolded. Was a physical, ordeal taking place there, right? Besides just this man offing himself, right? And was it in front of this manager and this alleged female that was in the car with Lil Papa?
Yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure you all hit the like button. Okay.
Who knows?
They don't. You'll be proud of me, OG. Woke up, read me a Bible verse, got some breakfast in my system, talked to God about it. You know what I'm saying? And he laid it on me. I got one more album, EP, mixtape, whichever one it's gonna be, I got one more. And it's over, I'm going to find my peace.
You're watching the Rundown Podcast. I appreciate everybody for spending with me. I appreciate all my subscribers for sliding with your boy every time. And say, man, hey, man, keep hitting that like button, keep hitting that subscribe button, and look, turn on post notification so we can slide whenever I get the drop. You already.
Shout out to OG Jakaria. Make sure you all go and subscribe to him. He's very good about whenever he uses a clip or something, he's gonna always shout the person out. So I really like his channel. I do. I like the way he do his videos and all of that. He put a lot of time into his videos. You could tell. But you know, that's interesting to me. Um, how that happened. Because it seems like to me, if they had thought that he was sewer to the sidle, um, if they had thought that, um, I mean, would they have turned their backs on him? Would they have been right there in his face trying to talk to him? Um, hey, D'Angelo, trying to talk him down. I mean, if they were having conversations, and while he was sitting in the car, evidently they didn't think at that point that he had not exuded any um, symptoms of or said anything about he wanted to take himself out. I mean, I find it weird. You would think that he would have waited until they were no longer around or he was by himself. Um, that's weird to me. Okay, that is. It's weird to me. And because we don't necessarily, maybe he was up under, it seems like he was up under a lot of stress. You know, you hear rumors about he was going to be indicted because he took part in that with Ace Youngin, and allegedly helping to put money on Julio Fulio's head. Was he stressed out because um, the record execs had gotten word of this, and they was letting him know they were going to have to disassociate themselves if he was indicted from that? Um, who knows? Okay, who knows? But it sounds weird to me. Okay, definitely he seemed like he was up under, when he went live, up under some type of mental anguish for sure. But people go through mental stuff all the time. You know, was it to the point of him wanting to take his life? Yeah, I just think like the circumstances surrounding how all of that happened um, is really strange. I think anybody can admit that it is definitely strange how that happened, right? So, um, anyways, rest in peace to Lil Papa. Okay, and it takes me to, is the music industry taking a mental toll on artists, or are they taking them out for insurance money? I think it's a little bit, I think it's both. I think that because of how demonic the industry is, the demands of the industry, how people are just so dead set on um money, getting money, and you know, hey, everybody works for money, but the execs solely, they depend on the artist, right, to be hot, and all of that. So they put a lot of pressure on the artist to bring them in money. And so there's a lot of pressure of, you know, being afraid, you know, will the public accept my music? Am I going to be hot? As soon as you drop something that is hot, people play it nonstop. They binge on it for what, 2 weeks at the most. 2 weeks at the most, and then the attention is gone. And 2 weeks is a long time. It being that the public has the attention of a gnat. Okay, you can't keep the public's attention long because people are always putting out music. Sounds are always changing. So right after they put out something, they get to celebrate for 2 weeks, and now the pressure is back up on them to put out something else to consistently keep because well, to keep money in their pockets, because the execs are getting the majority of that anyways. Okay. Did I go to the rocking chair? I didn't. I didn't go to the rocking chair. And they've been rocking out at the rocking chair too. They've been rocking out at the rocking chair. I'm gonna have to get over there. Okay. Y'all make sure y'all go to the rocking chair. My cousin is part owner of that club, and it's a restaurant too. They got some really good soul food. It's a mature atmosphere. My cousins and them be up in there, all of them. I was looking at some pictures. I was looking at some pictures right on Facebook where they was all hanging out in the rocking chair. I believe it was last night. Anyways, I didn't get a chance to go, but I'm gonna tell you what I do. I'm gonna get back to this, but I'm gonna tell you what I was mad about. They had little EJ over there, and they didn't tell me because I would have paid to see EJ. I would have loved to have supported EJ. They all got ready, went to see EJ, and them bras ain't tell me nothing. Okay, I know I'll never go nowhere, but I mean, they could ask me sometimes. Well, I don't like to party with them like that, but I would have hung out that night. Okay. Anyways, but yeah, I think it's a little bit of both as it relates to that, because um hey, if the artist is not making any money, I mean, I do believe that it ain't like it is. I mean, it's not far fetched to say that um, if they can't make money off of them, they recoup their money back with insurance. I mean, that ain't far fetched to say. Here, we see that it had been happening. So, I mean, I don't think that Yo Gotti is exempt from that. Okay, I don't think he would be exempt from that, but I hope. I just think that this situation with Lil Papa, I'm not accusing anybody because I don't know. What I'm saying is it is definitely strange. It is. It's very strange. So, um, yeah. D'Angelo there. I'm telling you, I love my cousins, but I'm not their caliber. I guess I'm like a caterpillar. Okay. They didn't got old. They ought to be trying to sit down somewhere. Anyway, y'all, make sure y'all hit that like button. So I think it is. I was listening to Sharon, the young lady that I interviewed that was a retired MPD officer. She was talking about her son Zay. His name was it his son? Her son's name was South Memphis. Was it South Memphis Zay or something? Was it? It was. Well, anyways, she said that young Dolph was his mentor, and Dolph used to mentor her son. And I'm gonna have Sharon to come back to talk about that, about what happened with her son, because Zion is the exact same age as Key Glock and all of them. Because I remember when I started working for the police department, when they brought Sharon up there and put her on the desk, she was working in the office with me. That's how we met. I had just came back from having my baby. And when police officers get pregnant, they put them on the desk to answer the phone. So they put her up there with me in felony response. And Crime Stoppers at night would be forwarded around there with me. And so they put her in Crime Stoppers until she had Zion. So our last babies were born the same year. And so anyways, she was telling me about Zion. He was getting ready to, I think after what happened with young Dolph, he was getting ready to sign with Sauce Walker. Sauce Walker was getting ready to sign Zion. But anyway, she's talking about how he was always over there with Dolph, around there with Dolph, and how Dolph mentored him, and he was always around Dolph, and Dolph mentored him and all of that. And then she was talking about, all of that stuff happened with young Dolph, and then like they started trying to take Zion out. Like, it's a lot of stuff that happened. She knows, like, kind of the ins and outs of like details of what happened as far as like the street stuff, okay, with that, because her son was like, it was, I don't, it's just, it's weird, I know one time she was saying that he had went to they shot out his windows and stuff. He was in the Whitehaven area. They shot up his car, shot out all his windows and all of that. Rest in peace to young dog. Okay. Yeah, make sure make sure y'all hit the like button for me, okay? My phone starts going off every time I get on here. Okay. Anyways. Um, so at any rate, I think I don't know as it relates to the industry. I believe it's a combination of not being able to see his son and dealing with having sickle cell. Miss T, it sure is very strange. He said this was going to be his last. He definitely said. He said then he was going to take his piece. You know, he was going, and I mean, some people may say he was going to get his rest or take his piece or whatever. Some people might say he was saying, um, you know, once his last album, he wasn't gonna rap no more, something like that. Or it definitely seems like he was giving his goodbyes to something, whether it was his life or the entertainment industry. And you have to think about he comes from a Christian like background. He started writing like church songs and church rap songs and stuff. He was doing gospel stuff. And so when you get into a demonic force, you're like a fish in a bowl. And we see now, like with the industry, they don't, it's really not humanized or whatever. It's strictly, they don't see humans, right? They don't see you as an individual with feelings. They see you as a machine that can make them some money, just like a money machine, like money that they print up money. That's how they look at these humans, like no feelings at all, only if you're printing them or bringing in revenue for them. So they don't look at that you get stressed out, that you might have some type of mental issues or anything like that. They don't give a fuck about stuff like that. Unfortunately, that's the reason why a lot of people look at the industry as being the devil, because of that. And he comes from a background where, I mean, there was some type of godly foundation, and we know it ain't really no God in the industry. So you can easily get sucked up. Have you ever been in a room with a bunch of people and you might not even know the people? And there you could tell without knowing, like you just start to feel uncomfortable, and um it's almost like you might start hyperventilating. It's so many demons on them. You're just like a fish out of water, like you can't breathe or whatever. Because I know that, like when I'm in the room with a bunch of devils, that's how it is. I start to get, that's the reason why I don't go to a whole lot of places, because I know how I am. I can't sit in a room and fake or be content with a bunch of damn devils. Okay, because it's just something about their spirits that just kind of wear on you. And I think it's because those demons that's on them be trying to penetrate you and make you one of them. Okay. I believe in the transfers of spirits and stuff like that. That's why you have to be very meticulous about the types of rooms that you go in, the type of people that you allow even to touch you. My grandmother used to say that. Like my grandmother was not a hugger or anything like that. Um, and she just always, she's like, you have to be careful about who you allow to even touch you, because whatever they got on them, those spirits and stuff are always looking for new entities to penetrate. Okay. So yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button though. Make sure you guys please like, share, and subscribe. But hey, and I'm not just talking about, Lil Papa. I really hate that this happened, whatever it was that happened to him. A lot of people might say, why can't they just accept that it's a suicide? If you weren't there, how the fuck you know what it was? Because people say that, the people said it was a suicide. Why they can't accept that? None of us was there, so we don't know whether it was a suicide or not. We just know what they say. I mean, we just know that it's strange, So yeah. Anyways, y'all. So y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. I'm gonna be on for 30 more minutes, and then I'm gonna look at Harriet Tubman or something. I love to be free on a Saturday, okay, to just chill out. It was something else I wanted to show you all. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Get down. I'm trying to see if I can find it. I can't find it. Hold on. I'm gonna find it though. Y'all give me a moment. I wanted to hold on, you all. Yeah, I want to show a little bit of this because I'm really intrigued by some of this. I am, and I don't know. I always like to go back to the beginning because as I think about, I don't know, I like to try to be a problem solver. I think I'm just like my mama, in that aspect of it. I always wanted to try and solve problems for people, which sometimes can be overwhelming for all of us, right? But I'm not one of those ones that just don't care. So I always like to go back and do research um, on when this things got out of hand for us in our community. People that God gifted with everything, soul, dance. God gave us everything. Um, and we've had people to try and have strip us of our everything to include our identity. But I try to go back and do as much research as I can do and try and analyze certain things. And I saw this is one of the documentaries. I'm not gonna play all of it, but I felt like this was interesting. Check this out.
Growing class of disadvantaged youth with problems unlike anything society has seen before.
It's hard.
So this is what they did, and it's so sad. What they did was they put crack and stuff into our communities. Then they got the cameras. They told people to go in with cameras and do documentaries on us to see as if we were like guinea pigs, we'll put the crack in their communities and then take the cameras and go into the projects to see how they're doing, see how bad it messes them up, and document it the whole way, which is very hurtful. But let's just look a little bit
Take
at
care of babies and getting them things don't match. I can't get high and take care of babies. All right.
Recently, Tracy has completed a 6-day detoxification program at a local hospital in a suburb of New York City, near where she lives. She says she's on.
Now, this is a 19-year-old young lady who was strung out on crack, who got strung out on crack in the 80s and had a baby.
Drugs these days, but she remembers the struggles months before when she did smoke crack and try to take care of the baby too.
I wasn't right to be no mother, because a little baby you gotta pay attention to. And when you do that stuff, you don't want to hear no noise and stuff. You want to get away from, you don't want to hear it. So a baby's gonna make noise. You can't tell it to shut up. So.
What about when you were first pregnant? Were you using then?
I did use it, but so like 5 months. Cause then after that, you don't feel comfortable using. I mean, you don't even like if I wasn't pregnant, I think I'd be looking for more or something like that. But I wasn't interested, and maybe because I was sick. Not that I was thinking about my health, because I did do it, but.
Tracy says there are a lot of reasons she'd like to forget the past few years of her life, not the least of which was taking back gifts to the store to get money to buy drugs, gifts given to Tracy by her grandmother.
The worst thing is like taking things back to the store, like asking my grandmother for, saying a lie or something like that, to ask my grandma for some money for that I didn't need it for, but I would lie and ask. I never do nothing, disgusting. I never did anything like sold my body and nothing like that.
Tracy's grandmother, Mary Hood, is one of the most important people in her life. She took her in when Tracy's mother, herself a drug abuser, threw Tracy out of the house. Mrs. Hood has 9 children, 14 grandchildren, and 2 great-grands. But for now, Tracy is her main concern.
I don't want anything to happen to her. I don't want anything to happen to the baby. And that's the only thing I can say. It's just, that's my worry, my biggest worry. That's why I try to keep her here with me, because she and her mother doesn't get along.
How long can she stay here?
Until she can get herself together, and as long as she wants to. As long as she wants to stay here, I'm here, and she can stay here.
Where do you think Tracy's problem started?
I more or less think it started in the home.
Now, this was a young lady who was a victim. Her mother got strung out on crack. Her at 19, or before she was 19, because she had the baby at 19, got strung out on crack. Y'all know I had to see if I could find her, and I found her, y'all. Now, they did that special in 1990 when she was 19 years old, and I just started to do a little research to see if she was still alive, y'all, and I found her. I want to pull up her today, y'all. Let's see. She's 50 years old. She's 50 years old now. And this is her today.
No. Don't walk away. I did for you. Go, birthday girl.
Wow, she seems to be doing good. She's having fun with her children or grandchildren or whatever. So like I said, I love looking at documentaries. Because I feel like in our community is so sad. Like, it's totally out of control. Like, it used to be they put things in our community. You had like the powers that be that did things to us. Now we've taken on those same characteristics and we're doing it to ourselves in our community. Like, you have somebody like Dolph that's killed. You have other young men that are killed because of jealousy, and there are no issues with it, no qualms about it. Um, we find a way to justify it because of that hate and jealousy that we have for ourselves, I believe. So it's really sad though, it really is. But do I believe that the industry is taking a mental toll on the artists? Yes. Do I believe that some of these artists are being taken out for insurance money? Yeah, I do. I believe that too. With Lil Papa, it is awful strange what happened to Lil Papa. I will forever say that it is absolutely strange that happened. We do see that there was a breakdown. Mentally, he seemed to have been breaking down mentally. So we can't omit that. It could just be one of those freaky things that happen, but we don't know if anybody was involved. It could have just been a suicide. We weren't there, but it does seem strange. So it is very weird, you guys. Anyways, y'all. NT Ways. I didn't get on here to stay on here long. I probably stay on for like 20 more minutes. And other than that, y'all, what else has been going on? Y'all know when I start getting into like my schoolwork and all that testing and stuff, I be tired. Like I came on last night, um, and I was real tired. And that's because, like I said, I've been working. And then it's this weather too. This weather will have you tired also. But I've been making sure that I get adequate amount of sleep so that I can get up and get on my prayer line. Make sure you guys, as a matter of fact, I need to put this up here every time that I come on so that I can promote it. Hold on one second. Yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure you guys please like, share, and subscribe, okay? I'm going to see if there's a way that I can put it up here. Let me see. I wish it was a way that I could minimize it. I got to learn how to work this stuff. Because I definitely don't know. Because I don't know how to. So anyways, you guys, that's the prayer line that we get up on every morning at 7 a.m. We're normally on from 7 until almost like 7. A lot of times we're off by 7:15, definitely 7:15. We don't be on to 7:20. And we don't necessarily know the people that are in there, but they come in and like we all agree on things together as it relates to what we want, because I do believe in the power of agreeing to make some things happen. When you have like-minded people that come in that want to agree and not just be nosy, because I understand that prayer works, and so I think it's needed because more and more, like, we see a lot of evil stuff being pushed in the atmosphere. And I think in order for us to like go to other levels, we got to go back to the basics. And that is praying. That's just something that we got to do. We don't have a choice. And so, and not just praying in the morning. It's good to get your day started with that, but also to be constantly praying. We have children and stuff that are out in this cold, ugly world. People are becoming more and more evil, just cold. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's in the water, in the food, but there are a lot of people that are just not human. You know, they have animalistic characteristics, and it's really sad. It's scary, you know, for our loved ones that they have to live their lives that are out in this world. So we have to consistently be praying, you know. Prayer works. Praying for healing, for prosperity, definitely for wealth, because you know, I get to thinking about Brorilla. Brorilla is hitting licks that a lot of people, she's made more money in a month or so than some people have that work every day have made in 2 or 3 years. She's got the opportunity, and people don't get those types of opportunities, right? And I think about, you know, the money that we get and stuff in our community. It's almost like a curse. Like it's like we have ants in our pants a lot of times. They get their money and they feel like they need to spend it. Okay, they feel like they need to spend it. And if she ain't careful, because she get her 15 minutes before this year is over, she'll be back in the same position that she was in before, and that's wanting to eat a roach. Okay, and I hate that for anybody that's got to eat a damn bug. Okay, but if she ain't careful, that's what's going to happen. She don't get the right type of people around her. I don't know why, you know, when people get some money, or if they get into a finesse, they runs over there to hustle cartel. Okay, it's just something about hustle cartel that rubs me the wrong way, especially, you know, with the way that he hoards King out. And he knows that King comes from a bad home. King does anything for some money. So, you know, King has been put in a grown man's position, which is sad. Anytime you got a child sitting up talking about, I need to get this money, we got bills and all of that, King ain't got no business even having those types of worries. That's a damn child, right? And the thing that gets me is what they have King doing. They wouldn't even want somebody to do with their children, right? That's what's so messed up. So I don't know, y'all. Our community needs some help and stuff like this. Like we have the power, like to cancel a lot of this stuff, a lot of things that people do. Okay, especially in the entertainment business. Instead, we work with people to cancel somebody because they do what they standing up with Trump. Y'all don't give a goddamn about who stands with Trump. I know I don't. We gonna cancel Nicki Minaj. Why? Because she stood with Trump. Now, because the media, that's what the media sensationalizes, and then they have the black community, because it's the black community that's supporting a lot of these artists. It's our money, so we need to pander to the black community. We're not gonna stand with them if they want some damn reparations. Fuck them on that. Okay, they talking about generational wealth and what the slaves. We don't want to talk about that. As a matter of fact, we'll black out their history. They ain't gonna do nothing about it. But we'll pander to them because we don't like it that Nicki Minaj is standing with Trump and get them to can't get the black community to cancel Nicki Minaj. And so we real good about doing shit like that. Okay, instead of saying I don't give a damn who she stand with. Okay, but I tell you what though, Mr. Media, why don't you do some documentaries on why they're not doing studies on why they give everybody else reparations and not black people? We'll stand with y'all on that. We'll give y'all all the ratings on that. Instead, we work with people and communities and the powers that be to take down other black people. Now, let me just say this. You might say, well, you do it with Yo Gotti. I don't give a damn about Yo Gotti, because Yo Gotti is one of those ones that help to destroy the black community when he's sitting up working with the powers that be. He working with the damn power brokers who wanted Young Dolph gone because he was going to make sure that artists were not slaves. So they get a Yo Gotti and get behind him if they can get together, and a bunch of damn fools that they gave some crumbs to take out a jewel in the black community. These black damn fools ought to be ashamed of themselves for doing it. But they allowed that jealousy on the inside of them to take over. They don't even give a damn, not until they somewhere laid on their back somewhere sipping out of a straw, because God them put them on their damn backs. Right. So I don't care about nobody that works with the master, the slave master. Okay. And I feel like at this point, that's what's going on. And what they've done is Yo Gotti has been able to, because it happened after they killed Young Dolph. Ain't nobody benefited to this point for killing Young Dolph except for him. So the rest of them ought to feel like a bunch of damn fools. Okay. But what happened was when he got them damn fools to go and kill Dolph, okay, they opened up, he was able to start walking into doors that he were not walking in. He was able to get in the Illuminati so he can borrow as much money as he could, and now he uses Glorilla and he take all her money because he got to pay that money back. Okay. But I feel like that's what happened. Okay. So now I don't give a damn about him at all. Okay. So why does a blessing to survive it? I can call you sometime. So yeah. Mo. So that's why I say, I'm just, our community really just disappoints me. Okay, especially with the way that things are with some of these men. It's very. Hey Nikolai. Hey Nikolai, I haven't seen you in a long time. Good to see you. Nikolai, where is Double Tap at? Does he have a channel? I've been looking for Double Tap. I haven't been able to find his channel. Or did he take his channel down? I used to have his phone number. I don't even have it no more. Because if he got a channel, I want the name. You moved to a new property. That's awesome. And that's what we've been praying for, people to close on houses and start getting houses and become homeowners. We've been coming into agreement for that. Nikolai, does Double Tap still have a channel? He hasn't been live much. I like Double Tap. I liked his channel. He was fun. Double Tap was cool. He was real fun. He has Double Tap 2. Let me see. I thought I looked for Double Tap 2 and couldn't find it. Let's see, Double Tap 2. I don't see it. I don't even see it. I don't see it at all. Okay, yeah, send me the link. I know he had a Facebook page. I don't remember the Facebook page. Or was it Double Tap on Facebook? My memory is not good. Yeah, it's so amazing to me, like the personalities that these puppies have. The different personalities is so hilarious to me. He's on TikTok. Okay. I had a TikTok channel, y'all. I don't know. I guess they hacked it and or something because I can't find it no more. I was going on the TikTok and everything, but I don't know what happened to it. Lord knows I don't. I can't even find it, period. And has IG under his name. Okay. It's a damn shame when you got a TikTok and I guess they hacked it and took it down. I don't know. Let's see. Must be love on the brain. Hold on, you all. Anyways. Okay. I wonder why I can't find my TikTok. That's all I want to know. I can't find my TikTok. I just wonder why I can't find it. I guess I ain't gonna worry about it either. Anyways, y'all, I may get back on later, but I said I was gonna dedicate this. I said I was gonna start dedicating Saturdays to recuperating. From like I'd be so busy during the week. Saturdays recuperating, and then I'm gonna go to church on Sundays. So I got a trip. My job is sending me on a trip on some training. Well, it's training. I'm going on some training in a few weeks. I can't wait. Oh my God. The hotel is so freaking beautiful. I think I'm up on like the 13th floor. I cannot wait. It's so beautiful. And I can't wait until like after because I think we'll be in training all day, like from 8 till 3. I think it's 8 to 3. And then after that, I'm gonna try to get out. And when I go to different cities, I like to try. I like to try like the restaurants. Like I like to go to restaurants that I don't see at home. Like whenever I go out of town, I never like go to restaurants that sell chicken ever. I don't even when I go out to eat, I don't even order chicken. It's like I cook chicken all the time. Hey, M Mac. Oh, he said he I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait so that I can get out and eat from like family owned restaurants. I love to do that. Like when we went to Pigeon Forge, I had to go to Pigeon Forge to some training um for my well, it was a bail bonding for bail bondsmen. And we went to Pigeon Forge. I took like my family with me. We was in a beautiful hotel, of course. They were so excited. Of course, I mean they had a good time because it was on my dime, right? So, but I didn't mind. My mom came with us. The ride was so long because we drove up there. It was like an 8 hour drive. Like that's way on the other side of Tennessee, like the eastern parts of Tennessee. That was a long ass drive. And it's like the streets and stuff are so steep and the curves are like S curves, but it's a lot to do in Pigeon Forge. I loved it. Like um we had a lot of fun just going to restaurants that we don't have in the Memphis area. That are like family owned restaurants, and the food was so freaking good. So, where I'm getting ready to go to now, I cannot wait. I've been Googling to see if there are any like restaurants that are not chain restaurants. They're like family owned so that I can try the food and critique it and all of that. Um, and what kind of stores and malls that they have that we don't have in the Memphis area. Like what kind of outlets? Because I remember when New York used to have a Nine West outlet. And I remember we went into that outlet, it had so many vibrant heels and stuff, but the shoes were, it was an outlet because the shoes were irregular. I think that Nine West outlet is probably closed now. I believe that it was up in Harlem. We went in there and we got so many shoes. But like I said, you had to try them on and stuff because the sizes were irregular in the outlet. And then we went to the mall in I believe that was like around Times Square. And I went to the Macy's, and um that Macy's got so many floors. We never get past, I never get past the shoes. And we always buy so much stuff, they just ship it from the Macy's to our house. By the time we get home, our stuff is getting there. And they always have stuff that is not out yet in other stores. Because I think that was like the main Macy's. I don't know if it's still open in New York, but yeah, I love New York. I love to go to all of the mom and pop restaurants, which is totally like every other restaurant in New York to try. One of my friends that went with me, Kia, she was like, "You gotta try Cuban food," because she's from Miami, so she was like, "You gotta try Cuban food." Went to this Cuban restaurant. Okay, celebrity TV with DT is his new channel. Okay, let me go. Let me go put a celebrity TV with DT. Okay, I'm subscribing. Okay. He's been laying low. Well, that's a good thing. My second channel, I am getting ready to change it, and I'm going to be doing other content on my second channel. So, I don't know when I'm gonna do it, but I am going to. Probably, it may be a while because right now, when I start Like we get ready to do midterms, and then the semester does not end until the end of April. But then I'm going to summer school. So y'all know how I am. But I've been adjusting well though, because y'all know last semester I was barely getting on. I was so stressed out. But I've gotten kind of adjusted to doing my school work and getting on here and stuff and all of that good stuff. And I want to start going live on here. I want to do a setup and turning my cameras on and going live. I guess I'm gonna have to get somebody to come to my house and do it because I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be in my studio because he keeps going up on the rent. I mean, you going up on the rent and I ain't barely even over there. So I got 100 acres off grid property and building a substantial farm and camp. Oh my God, that is so awesome. Nicola, are you in New York? Because I'm going to tell y'all something that I want to do. Something that my dad had wanted to do. And what my dad wanted to do with his organization was he wanted to get a bus and take selected children and their parents and go drive to get the bus, to rent a bus and drive to New York to the Harriet Tubman Museum. Take some kids from out of Memphis, from out of the hoods with their parents, okay? And go to, but well behaved parents, because a lot of the parents, Lord have mercy. Hold on, y'all. This is it right here. It's in Auburn, New York. Oh my God, I get so freaking excited, y'all. I do.
Paul Gordon Carter, and I'm the resident manager here at the Harriet Tubman home in Auburn, New York. Harriet Tubman was a woman who was willing to put her life on the line to go back to help her family become.
Y'all, that's her house that the government gave to her. I do believe the original one was burned down, and then they ended up, her brothers and her husband and all of them ended up having to rebuild another house on the land. And what she did with that house was, when the government gave her that house, I guess because of, I forget what it would be called. What is it called when you do work for the community for her? I forget what it's called. My brain messed up. Also you're in California. Okay. And so, anyways, what she would do was those freed slaves that was sick, their bodies was sick and hurting and stuff. She took care of the sick in her home. She opened her home up for the sick, those slaves, whose bodies and stuff who were sickly, that those slaves had been freed, right? But by this time their bodies and stuff, they were old, body were worn and all of that. Yeah, so let's finish looking at it. Y'all know I can do a whole history class.
Free. She ended up in the Auburn area where she lived for approximately 55 years of her life. She was able to acquire 32 acres of land on which she had her residence, which the original one burned down in 1880. And then she had the brick house built on the same foundation where the wood framed house was destroyed. It was built by her second husband, nephews, and brothers who were brick masons in the area, and they built the brick house. And then there's the barn behind the house, but she also established a home for the aged on some property that she purchased in 1896. Her original home was purchased by her with the help of William Seward in 1859. But her home for the aged and the infirmary that she named after John Brown were established on the property that she purchased in 1896 through a land auction. And now the property is owned by the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church and has been so since 1903. And they've conducted tours here since 1953. She was a woman who had a tenacity and courage and had the mindset that she understood that freedom was something that everybody should have and that it was against the dictates of God for someone to capture someone and then hold them hostage and not allow them to have their freedom. So she was a woman who was willing to put her life on the line, go back through slavery, and free all of those who could, because freedom was important to her, as well as family and faith and things of that sort. Many people don't realize that Harriet Tubman was not a very big woman. She was only 4 feet 11 inches tall. Many know that she was illiterate, could not read or write. But though she was not able to read and write, I always like to remind people that just because she was what we consider illiterate does not mean that she was ignorant. She was able to learn things from her parents and other people that she came across, to such a point that she was able to parlay it into a 32-acre estate with her own home, a home for the aged, a hospital, a pig farm, vegetable garden, and a small apple orchard that she used to generate income for the rest of her life. Also, people are not aware of the fact that Harriet Tubman was the only woman that we're aware of who was able to lead, of any color, I should say, who was able to lead soldiers into battle during the Civil War. She went on several raids, and it has been said that on the raids she led, none of the men who served with her were killed during the times that they served with her. So just that fact in itself is a very important fact as it relates to her life and some of the things she did with it. But Harriet Tubman is buried here in the city of Auburn in upstate New York. She is buried at the Fort Hill Cemetery, which is located off of Fort Street here in the city of Auburn. And she has been there since her death in 1913. And her grave marker that is there now is not the original marker, but that was one that was placed there by the Empire State Federation of Women back in the 30s. She is well known and well noted in the community. Most people that come want to go to her grave, and they go there, and many people leave items that are important to them. Some people just stand there and cry. But she is located here in the city of Auburn at Fort Hill Cemetery, which is approximately 2 miles, 3 minutes from her home. Well, if you know anything about Harriet, you know that she was an extraordinary woman. And for those of you who want to know something about Harriet, I truly believe that Harriet was a woman who believed it was better to live for a cause rather than living just because.
Absolutely. It's better to live for a cause rather than live just because. I think I got to get that printed up. Absolutely. Shout out to Harriet Tubman. Y'all know I'm listen, I have to confess, I love to eat, sleep, and breathe, like learning more and more and more about Harriet Tubman, about Sojourner Truth, and don't think I'm weird, y'all, about Josephine Baker. And I think what was so fascinating to me about Josephine Baker was the fact that she was able to leave St. Louis as a dancer and escape and go to Paris. And she was not able to make it in the States because of her skin tone, but she made it in Paris because of her skin tone, right? They was fascinated by um, they was fascinated by her dark skin, a black woman dancing on stage, and they didn't see many black people, and I mean, she was just exotic. They spoke about, because I read many books on Josephine Baker, and a lot of the white people in France was like, they was just fascinated by her dark skin tone. She was just so exotic. Like, they consider her to be like this exotic woman, that they was not familiar with seeing because of their pale skin. And this lady with beautiful bronze a golden skin, you know, with color in her skin, and she was just so exotic and beautiful. So I like I said, I love to read about stuff like that, and it gives. I'm gonna tell you what it do for me. As tired as I be, and as much as you know, I feel like there are obstacles for all of us. When the times back then was way worse than what it is now, and these people were able to push through. Okay. So what it does is it gives me inspiration. Like you think about the times and the obstacles that they had, and these were black women, and I don't know, it just gives me I don't know, it just gives me life. It gives me inspiration to keep going. Okay. To do any and everything. That's why I do everything that I want to do, because I feel like I was telling my mama this. I was like my mother was a mom as a teenager, and she had me when she was young, with you know about 16 years old. My mother did, and but my mother has always been reserved, and I feel like she has always been like a caretaker, and I got somewhat of that because I'm very nurturing. I'm very loyal though, but I'm loyal to an extent. Like if you fuck over me, I ain't got nothing for you. My mother is very forgiving. I'm not forgiving. I'm not forgiving because I'm very loyal. Okay. But I was telling my mom, I was like my mother, she centered her world around people. And so she kind of didn't do a lot of what she could have done because she kind of centered her world around helping others. When I was in my I was a young mother. I was raising kids and stuff in my 20s. And then during that time, like family members started to get sick. My grandmother got sick. My granddaddy got sick. So I didn't want all of that to be on my mother. So I was helping my mom, but I still did what I wanted to do. And now that my girls are grown, I feel like I have nothing but time to do all those things that I didn't have time to do, like finish school, like when I say I want to go on a vacation, I think about it. I'm going on a vacation. I'm going. I'm gonna take a vacation. Like I just kind of it's not being all over the place. It's just catching up on doing a lot of things that I didn't do because I feel like that's what life is about, right? And constantly finding ways I really wish that our community would take an interest in wanting to know our history, because even with the bad in our history, there's a purpose in it. It is definitely a purpose in it. We stand on the shoulders of brilliant people that learned how to survive in those types of conditions, and they were still able to persevere, and their name is in history. You know what I mean? We speak about their names from hundreds and hundreds and years ago because they had a lion heart. They had a spirit of a lion or a tiger. They was able to persevere because they had a dream of something, right? So I think that it is important. I think that we owe it to them to at least go and learn our history. They try and wipe out our history because if you don't know about your history, they don't want you to know that there's a reference of how these women persevered, you know, how they stood in the face of adversity and was able to still stand strong, and like they was able to push through and be successful in whatever their cause was, and with their clothes and stuff on, right? They don't want these girls. They make a lot of money off of black women showing their bodies and being whores. They make the bare minimum and it is their body, but they're putting it all over social media, all over TV. And these girls don't make no money, but the people that own the medias make a lot of money, right? Off of them doing this. So they don't want there to be a reference of um, a Cornelia Crenshaw or Harriet Tubman. They want them to forget about all that. I was looking at a documentary on A&E, and they was there even trying to put doubt in our minds. Now, I heard him say, you know, who knows if Sojourner Truth was ever even a real person. I was like, are you kidding me? Um, they don't talk about Sojourner Truth I wish somebody would do like a play on her as they do Harriet Tubman. But now what they try to do is even to put doubt out there in the newer generations, as if, were these just characters that black women wish they could have been this strong, and they probably had dreams of being this strong, and so this could have just been a almost like a cartoon character that was written, that they may have spoken about, fairy tales that they may have told. They don't ever want there to be a reference, right? They don't ever want there to be a reference of greatness, because if you start reverting back to that, okay, they figure out who they are, the strength that they have. We're not going to be able to have our thumb on them anymore, right? And we kind of just let them, do that, which is really sad, right? Let's see. Okay.
Sojourner Truth was born around 1797 in Ulster County, New York. Originally named Isabella Baumfree, Truth was sold at 11 years old along with a flock of sheep for $100.
Sojourner Truth wrote about her life as a child in slavery, and she talked about experiencing sexual abuse and continued beatings and whippings by her slave owner.
Truth fled her master in 1826, 1 year before the abolition of slavery in New York, and eventually became a freed slave.
After Truth became a free woman, she had the courage to go to court to challenge the legality of her son being sold into slavery. She was successful against so many odds, which is what makes that court case so amazing.
Inspired by religion, she changed her name to Sojourner Truth in 1843. The following year, she joined forces with abolitionists such as Frederick Douglass and William Lloyd Garrison.
Sojourner Truth became a traveling preacher, but also she was an early women's rights advocate, and so she spoke very forcefully for that as well.
In 1850, she published her memoirs, and the following year, Truth delivered her famous speech at the Ohio Women's Rights Convention.
The speech was later retitled, Ain't I a Woman? And it was so powerful in part because it talked about the equality of work that was executed by Black people in general, that people who were free and unfree worked just as hard, whether they were men or women.
Following the outbreak of the Civil War, Truth recruited troops for the Union Army and met with President Lincoln in 1864, who gave her permission to become a counselor at Freedmen's Village.
Sojourner Truth made a singular contribution during the Civil War. She agitated for Black people to be able to fight for their own freedom.
Truth continued to campaign for abolition and women's rights until her death on November 26, 1883. In 2009, a statue of Sojourner Truth was unveiled at the U.S. Capitol, commemorating her legacy.
Sojourner Truth was one of the gutsiest women in American history, Black or white.
Wow, that's so freaking awesome. And like I said, I was looking at a documentary and they insinuated, that she probably, maybe she wasn't even a real person. Maybe this was something that a lot of women, Black women that were enslaved had like fairy tales of, thought this up, when they would tell those old slave fairy tales. Like they never want there to be a reference of how there were people back in those days that did not just submit, they fought against slavery, right? Every Black man that were brought from Africa, they didn't just submit. A lot of them were killed because they did fight back, right? They didn't want to just stand for the master to come and take their child or take their wife and rape their wife or whatever. They fought back, and a lot of them that's why they would tie them to horses, right? They would tie their arms and their legs to 4 different horses, and then they would make the horses go in different directions, and they would make the wives and the other slaves watch it. So, and while the man was tore apart because he fought back. And so they wanted to put a lot of fear in them to never fight back. But there were slaves that did fight back, right? Unfortunately, they lost their lives. That's how they was able to put a lot of fear in their children and in their women. And that's a lot of people go, well, why did they submit? Because they did things of this nature. They would tie them to the tree, to the men to the tree, and sodomize them and things of that nature. The children, they would use them as alligator bait and all of that. Like this is the type of stuff that went on. And this is why it's very bothersome to me. People like Yo Gotti, that would take money from the slave masters or kill somebody in hopes of being able to walk into doors with the very people that still keep us oppressed. Regardless of what they think about Young Dolph was opening a door that would have enabled a lot of these black boys to be able to be free from the slave masters. And unfortunately, Straight Drop, who was wanting to get into the industry himself, did not see the bigger picture. He couldn't see past his jealousy and hate, right? Which is why he went and took the job to take him out. And now what is he at? He's a slave, basically himself. He's a slave because he's going to be in a facility for the rest of his life working for pennies, right? So he's ultimately a slave of the state, which is so unfortunate, right? Anyway, y'all, I didn't mean to be on here this long. I need to put my food and stuff on so that I can lay around. Y'all got me so in, like I cannot, like I love, like what this is what I do. My life is so, and my daughter, when she bring my grandbaby over here, we'll look at Minnie Mouse. We'll be looking at, she loves look at Mickey Mouse. So we'll be looking at Mickey Mouse, and then I'll start looking at, like, when she get relaxed and stuff, I started looking at different documentaries, and I love like having her look at these documentaries, even though she don't understand. I want for her to start looking at this stuff. Like I tell my daughter, I just tell her, well, mama, blah blah blah. I go, no, I need for her to take an interest in history very early on, right? I really do, because when my girls were growing up, I was in the rat race. I was so busy trying to make sure that I was surviving and providing a living to make sure that my girls had everything that they needed, trying to figure out who it was that I was, because you be trying to figure out who you are too when you're young and you got these kids and stuff. I was so busy with that. Now that I'm in my 40s, I'm more settled. I'm happy. I've always been happy, but I'm just, I you know, wisdom has come about, and things are just beautiful, right? And so now with my grandbaby, I could, I love on her and send her home, but I have the opportunity to do a lot of things with her. So, anyways, y'all. Don't ever let nobody tell y'all that getting older is not a beautiful thing, because it is. It is. It's a beautiful thing because wisdom is supposed to set in. That's the reason why I don't like no old ass food. Okay. Anyways, y'all, I'm gonna get off of here so I can put my dinner on and I can lay around and chill out. Okay. And recuperate. Okay. But anyways, I want you guys to please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel, you can hit up the Cash App or the Super Thanks. I had my prayer line. I'm on every morning, and I'll be on in the morning from 7 a.m. until 7:15. Go on my Real Talk with Tamara like page on Facebook if you want to get the number and the code, and we will be glad to have you all on. We are on every single morning, every single day. Okay. I love you all. Talk to you later.